All right, well, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome to all of you that have joined us today from near and far. We're going to learn more about our Early Advantage program today that we started offering this past December. My name's John Copey, and with me is my coworker, Wendy Sager. We're the sales counselors here at Westminster Canterbury of the Blue Ridge, or as we like to call it, WCBR. At the end of our presentation today, we'll have time for questions and answers, but feel free to go ahead and type those in at the bottom of your screen. You'll see a Q&A section. We'll address any of those questions that haven't already been addressed during our presentation. We're going to turn off our videos at this point so that you can turn your full attention to the information that we're presenting today. So our agenda for today, what we'll be discussing is, for those of you that are new to it, what is Early Advantage? Why are we offering this program? What are the member benefits, membership requirements, fees, and then some frequently asked questions that we've had since last December. So let's start off with defining Early Advantage. What is it? The Early Advantage program offers another option for those that are interested in becoming residents at WCBR. As a non-residential option, Early Advantage members live off campus in their own home while enjoying the amenities and benefits of our campus while they wait for a future opportunity to move in. Early Advantage members offers peace of mind in knowing that they are financially and medically accepted into our community. If there's a change in health status, members have the ability to move directly to our higher levels of care, whether temporarily or permanently. Now, why? Why did WCBR decide to implement this program now? I'll start by saying that the feasibility of implementing an Early Advantage non-residential program has been carefully analyzed and researched over the last few years. There are several facets that were considered. First, we have been maintaining a very high occupancy rate in independent living over the last few years, currently at a level of 95% or higher. We've also seen record-breaking growth to our waiting list, the Compass Club, over the last few years, with the growth increasing year over year. We now have over 700 households representing over 1,000 members. Because of this increase in demand, our members on our waiting list have a much longer wait time for independent living. Wendy and I always stress to folks that residents move to independent living when they join the community, not needing any kind of assistance with their basic care needs or safety. Many people are worried that they will not get that opportunity before a health change occurs. If you join our waiting list today, you're probably looking at a minimum of a 2 to 3 year wait before a small apartment in independent living may be available. For larger apartments and cottages, that wait is even longer. Another reason why we're adding the Early Advantage program is based upon research done by our actuary partner, AV Powell. We learned that the data shows ongoing available capacity at Westminster Canterbury in our care areas based on our healthcare occupancy levels. Also, the Early Advantage program allows us to broaden our services and revenue streams. When there's such a high occupancy, not only does that limit opportunities to welcome new residents, but it also curbs the revenue stream that is typically brought by entrance fees. As a responsible not-for-profit community, maintaining a healthy budget is essential in continuing to meet our operational needs, including services, amenities, maintenance, and capital improvements. Early Advantage allows us to both broaden our services to those on our waiting list and also to provide additional revenue streams to satisfy WCBR budget items and invest in future campus initiatives. And adding an early advantage program gives us a competitive edge. This is not a new concept in the senior living industry. In fact, many communities in other parts of the state and country already offer this program. Some have been offering it for over a decade now. Currently, there are no other communities in the Charlottesville area that offer a non-residential program, so we are the first. Early Advantage also offers us a way to increase future resident commitment and engagement by giving members enhanced access to campus life. In addition, it also offers us construction-free growth. Many of you know that our strategic plans included the addition of new independent living residences. We were well along into the planning phase when we received the construction estimates for the proposed project that were exceedingly more than what was projected. So, like many of our industry peers, we are back to the drawing board on alternative options, as that is still something we plan to do in the future. Providing a life care community of vibrant living designed to meet the dynamic needs of both current and future residents remains our mission. So Early Advantage will allow us to serve more people while we consider other possible expansion projects. Now I'd like to discuss some of the member benefits of Early Advantage. The biggest advantage of this program for Early Advantage members is the peace of mind for the future and flexibility for those who wish to stay at home. Residents moving to independent living at WCBR must be medically appropriate and approved for independent living. One major concern for folks is, what if something happens and my health changes before I can move in? The answer is only residents are guaranteed acceptance to one of our care areas. The other thing Wendy and I frequently hear is, I'm not ready to move from my current home. And I can see all of you at home raising your hand saying that might be you. Early Advantage is the answer to both of these considerations. It gives priority access to our care areas, and it also allows more flexibility for those who aren't quite ready to make the move, but don't want to worry about who will provide that future care. Another benefit, Early Advantage allows for higher levels of engagement. Members have access to the fitness center, multiple dining venues, activities, and programming. And of course, members will have priority access to premier quality healthcare, catered living, and Vista. Also, access to our health clinic with our board-certified UVA-affiliated medical director, Dr. Brad Murray, who's a geriatrician, and our geriatric nurse practitioner. Early Advantage members will remain on our Compass Club waiting list and will have the opportunity to select a residence in independent living as it becomes available to them, provided they still meet the medical qualifications. If they do, the Early Advantage entrance fee will be applied towards the independent living entrance fee. Or in the event of a permanent placement in a care area, the Early Advantage entrance fee covers life care privileges versus a per diem agreement. Also, the entrance fee and monthly fee for Early Advantage may be tax deductible depending on your individual circumstances. Now let's talk about Early Advantage membership requirements. First, an Early Advantage member must be a Compass Club member. Only Compass Club members are offered this opportunity. Secondly, a member must be financially approved for residency at WCBR. And a member must be medically approved as appropriate for independent living at the time of acceptance to this Early Advantage program. Next, I'll turn it over to Wendy to discuss fees.
Thank you, John. As you can see on our chart, our current pricing per person includes an entrance fee of $90,000 and a monthly membership fee of $800 for one person. So for a couple, it is $180,000 entrance fee and $1,600 monthly fee. When an Early Advantage member is admitted to a care area rather than independent living, the monthly fee will increase for that member. The current monthly fee for an Early Advantage member admitted to a care area is $9,850. Well, we have covered a lot of information so far, so let me provide you with a summary of benefits for Early Advantage members. First, Early Advantage members have priority access to WCBR's excellent continuum of care. Members also have unlimited access to our outstanding amenities, including the fitness center and dining venues, and the ability to participate in WCBR events, programs, and activities. Now let's talk about how we will be implementing membership to this program over the next few years. In implementing this program, we took a conservative, staggered approach to adding members to Early Advantage in order to monitor and manage the impact additional members may have on WCBR operations and services. This way, we will ensure that departments are adequately staffed to meet the needs of additional members while maintaining excellence for our current residents. The first year, we offered 15 Early Advantage memberships. And as of July 1st, we will be inviting 22 additional members to the program. These members will be selected from the applications that we have received thus far. We plan to offer additional memberships annually over the next couple of years to reach a total of about 73. This will be reviewed each year and is subject to board approval. Before we get to the Q&A, we wanted to share some of the frequently asked questions that we receive, and maybe you have thought of some of these as well. First question, do Early Advantage members move ahead of others on the waiting list? The answer is no. Early Advantage members retain their current place on the waiting list. Being a member does not increase one's priority to be offered an independent living residence. Next question, how do I apply? To apply, you can request an application from either John or myself. Completed Early Advantage applications can be emailed, mailed, or dropped off at the marketing office. Next question, is the Early Advantage entrance fee applied to independent living? Yes, it is. Once you have chosen an apartment or cottage in independent living, the Early Advantage entrance fee will be applied towards the independent living entrance fee. If there is a change in health status requiring a move to a care area instead of independent living, the Early Advantage entrance fee covers life care privileges rather than a per diem agreement, meaning your monthly fee will not increase with a higher level of care. Next, when is the medical evaluation conducted? Answer, the medical evaluation will be conducted at the time you are offered a spot in the Early Advantage program. An individual must be considered appropriate for independent living in order to enter the Early Advantage program. Next question, when is the entrance fee paid and when do monthly fees begin? The entrance fee will be paid once medically and financially approved and the Early Advantage agreement is signed. Monthly fees will also begin at that time. Next, is the entrance fee refundable? The entrance fee is partially refundable over the first 50 months, 4 years, and 2 months. It is reduced at a rate of 2% per month. After 50 months, there is no refund. If a member withdraws from the program or passes away prior to 50 months, any remaining entrance fee would be paid to the member or the member's estate. Next question. Is the Early Advantage program a benefit to someone who doesn't live in Charlottesville? Answer is yes. While there are many benefits that an Early Advantage member can enjoy while living in close proximity to campus, the number one benefit of Early Advantage is peace of mind. For those who have decided that WCBR will be their future home, there is also the knowledge that one must move while still independent in order to have access to our high-quality care. Early Advantage is like an insurance policy, giving peace of mind to know that if there is a change in health status prior to moving to independent living, an Early Advantage member has priority access to all levels of care whenever they need it. Of course, you would have to move to Charlottesville in order to receive that care, but we are here for you when you need us. Now we'll open up for questions that have not been answered so far. If you would type your questions into the Q&A section, we will answer those questions. I'm not seeing any right now. John, do you see any?
I do not.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Thanks. Okay, here they come. They come coming in. I was like, wow, we did a fabulous job. Okay, first question from Ruth and Paul. How do we get an application?
Well, actually, I'm going to take that. So Ruth and Paul, you actually turned one in last fall. So we have that on file. All you have to do is to submit an application. It says that you are interested in the program, and we will keep those on file in the order in which they're received. So Ruth and Paul, you do not need to do anything further. I think Charles also had the same question. If applications went in last year, we will still have those on file, but we can certainly check to make sure that we've got those. As Wendy said, we're going to announce to the next 22, the sophomore class soon, probably starting July 1st. And you'll know whether you're in that group or not. And we can certainly let everybody know where they stand if you've already submitted an application.
Yeah, and just to review while you're typing your questions in, when we started the program last year, we had the first month that we were receiving applications. Every Compass Club member who submitted their application was kept in order of their priority number, meaning the date in which they joined the Compass Club. After the first month, after November, any applications that we received were kept in the order that they were received. So we've been going through our applications as positions open up for membership and inviting those applications in that order. So as John just said, if you have already applied, you are in order as your application was received, and you'll be getting a call in that order. If you're not sure if you applied, reach out and let us ask, and we'll be sure to let you know. And if you haven't yet applied, we encourage you to do so. I know after today, this list is going to grow by leaps and bounds, especially because we're now adding more members over the next few years. So get your applications in and we'll put them in order as they're received. Next question is from Marlene. I'm unsure how the campus is available to us. Now we check in at the gatehouse and only get 2 classes at the fitness center. And how do the meals work? So John, can you just go over how it's different between Compass Club members and Early Advantage members in regards to access to campus?
Sure. So a member, as we said, is a non-residential agreement. So you're a member. You just have every access to everything that a resident has, except that you don't sleep here at night. So regarding fitness, there are some limitations as to what Compass Club members are able to do because you don't live here, and that goes to residents. But as a member, then you have full access, just like a resident does. As far as dining, again, there are some limitations as to what a Compass Club member can do, such as weekends or holidays are off limits to Compass Club members. We reserve those for residents and now early advantage members. So if you'd like to have your family gather for Thanksgiving dinner here, you need to be a resident or an early advantage member, but not a Compass Club member. And basically, as I said, everything that a resident can do on campus, a member of early advantage can do as well.
Okay, next question. What is the VISTA program? Great question. Great question. VISTA is the name of our memory care neighborhood on our campus. So that is the secure memory care section of our campus. Different from assisted living, different from skilled nursing and skilled rehabilitation. Next question from Judith. If you enter the program and need to go to a higher level of care before getting into independent living, what would the monthly charge for that care area be, and how would it go up?
Good question, Judy. So currently it is $9,850, and that's a monthly fee, whether you're in assisted living, which we call catered living, memory support, or Vista, or in skilled nursing. It will be the same monthly fee regardless of which of those three that you're moving into. If you moved in and stayed there for the rest of your life, then it would be going up on our annual increases every July 1st. This year it went up by about 3%.
Okay, next question from Terry. Please explain again what happens if one person of a couple needs early advantage of a couple in early advantage needs a higher level of care and the other doesn't in terms of fees and what they cover. So Terry, in this scenario, if you are a couple and both people in the couple are members of early advantage, your current monthly fee would be $900 a person or $900 a person or $1,800 total. If one person in the couple goes to a higher level of care, and this is a permanent move, that person who's moving to the higher level of care, their monthly fee will then become $9,850. And the person who has not moved to a higher level of care remains an early advantage member, paying that early advantage monthly fee. And then when independent living residence becomes available to you, you would then be offered that opportunity. And also, as John mentioned, the monthly fees are all subject to cost of living increases. So we're presenting to you our current monthly fees for both early advantage membership, and if an early advantage member goes to a higher level of care for the fiscal year 26 as of July 1. Mayor asks, I see advantages for a couple, but less so for a single person. Is this the case?
Mayor, absolutely not. It applies to a single person just as heavily as it does for a couple. In our first freshman year class of the 15 members, we had a good mix of both couples and singles. So just like moving into independent living and having that peace of mind for the rest of your life, knowing where you're living, what it looks like, who and where the care will be provided, and exactly what it's going to cost, that's applicable to you as a single person or to those that are part of couples.
All right, John, here's a question for you from Bevan. John, did you say that the application fee might be tax deductible?
Yes, Bevan, good question. So everybody's tax situation is going to be unique to yourself, but the entire entrance fee and the entire monthly fee is considered prepaid medical cost. So it will affect everybody's tax situation a little bit differently. That's a question for your CPA, your tax accountant. We send out a letter to all of our independent living residents every January, and we did the same thing for this year's class of Early Advantage members as to how much of those entrance fees and monthly fees are going towards prepaid medical costs. Not being a CPA, I can't tell you, Bevan, for how it will affect your situation. But if you have somebody that does your taxes for you, if you do them yourself, certainly happy to discuss that further.
All right, next question from Jeff. Is there a limit how long a couple or individual may remain in the Early Advantage program without purchasing a residence within WCBR? That's a great question, Jeff, and there's no limit. You are a member as long as you wish to be a member, and some people may join Early Advantage and decide to stay in their current home until they might need a higher level of care. Some people are joining Early Advantage and would love to live in independent living. In fact, we've had a couple of people who were joining the first class of membership, and in the process, their dream and independent living became available to them. So they went from Early Advantage member right to independent living. Again, they did not get up higher on the Compass Club list. I want to just make sure that that's clear. The people who were joining Early Advantage were already high in placement on the list, and an apartment became available to them during that process. So that's a great question, and thanks for asking it, Jeff. All right. Question from Charlie. Does the monthly fee include any dining allowance? This is the monthly fee for Early Advantage.
Yeah, so Charlie, the Early Advantage monthly fee does not include a dining allowance. You are still able to dine with us with no limitations, weekdays, weekends, holidays, etc. But you would just pay out of pocket either by cash or credit card. That's opposed to being an independent living. That monthly fee always does include at least a minimum for a dining allowance.
Right. And just to reiterate, as John said earlier, that the entire monthly fee, the entire entrance fee is considered prepaid medical expenses. So you're not paying for the fitness center. You're not paying for a certain part of dining. That whole fee is considered prepaid medical expenses. All right, here's another question. Is your place in line affected if you apply to Early Advantage but decline when offered? That's a great question. Let me kind of frame it for those who may not be tracking with the question, because this has happened. Let's say you have applied for Early Advantage. You filled out an application saying, yes, I'm interested in Early Advantage, and you're now in line on the waiting list for Early Advantage. And we get to you and you say, I don't think I'm ready to join today, but maybe in the future. Those applications we do keep, but we put them at the bottom of the pile. So you lose your current place in that waiting list and you go to the bottom. So you stay in line for future possibilities, but you don't retain your current place. Thank you for asking that. That's important. So if you are applying, this should be something that you are seriously considering and want to move forward with. Deborah asks, is the Early Advantage monthly fee $1,600 or $1,800? Thank you. And I know I flubbed that. John, can you clear it up for me?
So the monthly fee is $800 per person or $1,600 per couple.
That's for this fiscal year. As of July 1, it increases. Right?
Robin asks, I like how somebody put in quotes, junior class begin July of 2026. Yes, at some point, I think we're going to have 4 years of this, and that's why I say freshman, sophomore, junior, and possibly a senior class. And so, yes, the plan would be to continue to increase those numbers. First year was 15. We're going to add another 22, so we'll be at a total of 37. Wendy mentioned that the very first couple that joined last December have already moved in. So we've already filled their 2 spots to keep it at 15. We will have 37 that will be being offered as of July 1st. We will evaluate how it's affecting our campus and our current residents. to make sure that we're comfortable. As Wendy said earlier, we're taking a staggered conservative approach to this. We have a total of what we've determined to be 73 individual memberships that we could have done all at once. We wanted to take it a little bit slower than that. So we would expect to be adding another class every year until we get to a total of 73. And that number may change as well. As you've seen, we've gone from 15 to 22. And so that can change next year. It might be lower, it might be higher.
Thank you, John. As you were talking, I'm distracting everybody by flipping back the slides just because I completely misspoke about the fees. So here's the current fees as of July 1. This next class of Early Advantage members, here are the current fees. So sorry about that.
Next question, anonymous. What is the current and projected waiting list for higher levels of care? I'm not quite sure how to answer that. If you're a resident or an Early Advantage member, there is no waiting list for higher levels of care. With your agreement, we are guaranteeing that it will be there for you at any point in the future. Because of that, as a Compass Club member or someone who hasn't joined our waiting list, if you were to call us today asking for any of our 3 levels of higher care for availability, we're not sure we would have that for you. That is not something that is guaranteed to Compass Club members. For somebody who calls in from Martha Jefferson Hospital or UVA after a procedure, we would need to check our availability and our current resident and member needs. And could we meet them and still offer someone from outside to move there? So as a member or a resident, there is no waiting list. I hope that answers part of that question.
A question about Compass Club membership. Compass Club, as you know, you all are attending because you are members of our waiting list. Do you provide an annual estimate of how long we might be waiting for an independent apartment of our choice? That is provided to you whenever you want to reach out to us. We don't provide an annual update. It's just as requested. And keep in mind, it's our best guess. We never know what's coming back and when. So we are our time frames are usually a frame and also our best guess. So happy to do that for you. But please reach out for that information.
On a
Deborah
lighter
asks,
note,
okay,
Wendy,
go
let me
ahead.
just add, I always like
Yep.
to add this. I've come up with a good saying to give you an answer instead of saying it depends, is that Wendy and I make an annual request in our budget for a crystal ball. It is continually denied. We just don't have any idea. And your number and your status changes every day as people move in. And your thoughts on what you want to move into and when, that also changes. So we'll give you our best guesstimate based on our experience and our history here.
Okay. Deborah asks, how many people are currently on the waiting list? Since the topic for today is early advantage, I'm assuming that that's what you mean. So John, I know you
Yes.
calculated the last number. Do you
We
remember
have,
what it was?
when we initially opened it up last December, we started with about 125 individual applications. After making those offers, we're down to about 85 currently. As Wendy said earlier, again, we would expect that some of you today who haven't given us an application will be applying for it, showing that you're interested in it. So if we have about 83, if 22 then come off, that leaves us with 61 for next year. But we will continue to fill the slots as people move into independent living. So that number is going to continue to change.
All right. This is a great question. Does a couple take 1 or 2 spots in the Early Advantage program? And the answer is 2. So each member is an individual member, which kind of leads us into the next question. If one of a couple in Early Advantage program goes to a care area into care at $98.50 per month, and an apartment becomes available, will the fee for the spouse be based on single or couple? So that the spouse moving to independent living would be based on a single. So the person would pay the single entrance fee. Your Early Advantage entrance fee would be applied to that independent living entrance fee, and then your monthly fee would be for a one-person fee. And one other item of note. As we mentioned a couple of times, we mentioned that in order to join the Early Advantage program, there is a medical screening that happens. You fill out a medical application and you go through a medical approval. And in instances where a couple is applying for two memberships, if one person is approved and the other person is not approved medically, the person who is not approved medically is not able to join Early Advantage or move into independent living. So this leaves the couple with a decision to make, and that is, does the person who is approved for Early Advantage become a member? And in some cases, the answer is yes. And in some cases, the answer might be no. So that's an individual decision that you would have to make along with your spouse. What are your long range goals? And so that's just a scenario that might come up. It is a single membership for Early Advantage. Great questions, y'all. Okay, Margot asks, approximately how many people are currently waiting to join the Early Advantage program? John just answered that.
Yep.
So I think that's all, unless one pops in. How many people? Here's another one. How many people are on the waiting list for independent living? So we're around 700 households for our waiting list. And growing. We're getting so many. I think we added, for this fiscal year, we added about 200 households to our waiting list. The word is getting out, and I can't tell you, I would say 9 out of 10 people that we meet with start with, I heard that you have a really long waiting list and I need to get on it. And so it is growing by leaps and bounds. So we thank you so much for joining us today and for your great questions. We knew that we would have some as we went through this. So thank you for chiming in. This will be recorded. We're going to try to send it out to all of Compass Club members. So that's our goal for today. If not, I know I've received a couple of requests from individuals to send it to them, but I will make sure that you all can get the recording if you'd like to look at it again or send it to somebody who might be interested. So with that, if you're in the Charlottesville area or surrounding area, it's going to be hot. So stay safe today, stay cool. We're thankful for air conditioning, and we look forward to the next time we see you. Thanks again for joining us, and have a great day.
Thank you, everyone.